Hello everyone and welcome to the Book Refuge and welcome back to another installment in my series Vote on My Haul. So if you have no idea what this series is, welcome. I do this every month right before I put together my TBR for the next month, and what I do is I go back through my book hauls from a year previously, and if there's any books in that book haul that I haven't read yet and I still really want to read, I pick 5 of them and I let you guys choose one for us to buddy read together. And then something that I added new last month and I really liked is I have a whole shelf of historical romance back here. And I let you guys vote on one of those that is from like a new author or it's a new series by an author that I love, because I've been collecting these books based on your recommendations and things I find at thrift shops and things that look interesting. And this is great because the book that you guys picked for me last month, for this month, for April, was Falling into Bed with the Duke, and it pushed me into a historical romance binge. And that's like all I have been reading pretty much for the last couple weeks, and it's been really fun. But let's get into it. There is 5 fantasy books for the other book, and a couple of them are pretty intense. So let's go ahead and dive right into this. So the first one I want to talk about is called Nemesis by Anna Banks. So Anna Banks is an author that she wrote this trilogy called Of Poseidon, I think was the trilogy, and it was about sirens and mer people, and it was amazing and I loved it. And so, the Serena Legacy, look, it's right on the back of here. And so this one, I just purchased both of these off of Book Outlet, this one and its sequel, because I wanted to read more by Anna Banks. So this one, called Nemesis, is about Princess Sephora of Ceruble, is the last forager in 5 kingdoms. The spectorium she creates provides energy for all, but now her father has found a way to weaponize her gift. To escape his grasp, Sephora flees across enemy lines into the kingdom of Theoria. Her plan to hide there is thwarted when she is captured and forced into service for their king, Tarek. So sounds interesting. And yeah, so it's called Nemesis, and it looks like a dragon on the front, or like I don't know, but it looks cool. So if you're interested in this, give it a pick. Then there is Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. Yeah, I only bought the first book in this because I meant to give it a try. Barnes & Noble had a sale where it was like, buy 3 paperbacks, get 1 free or whatever. Honestly, I know very little about this series. It's one of the series on Booktube that was a big deal like before my time, and I know there's been new books coming out in like a revamp of the series or something. And that's cool, but I never really got into it. So if you want me to try this, we can do it. Next, I have Through the White Wood by Jessica Lane. This book, I remember this looking super cool, so this one says, Katya's power to freeze anything she touches has made her an outcast in her village. And when she loses control, accidentally killing several villagers, she is banished into the palace of the terrifying Prince Alexander of Kiev. At the castle, though, she is surprised to find that Alexander, is just like her, with his own strange talent, the ability to summon fire. Instead of punishment, Alexander offers Katya friendship and the chance to embrace her power. So, I don't know, girl kind of sounds like Elsa, and it's also set in, I think it is like a past Russia. Seems kind of cool. I like the idea of fire and ice powers. That sounds really fun. So let me know if you want us to do that one. This one is called Sky Without Stars by Jessica Brody and Joanne Rendell. This book, I remember being told that it was like a fantasy retelling of Les Mis. That is how it was explained to me. It says there's a thief, an officer, and a guardian, 3 strangers, 1 shared destiny. When the last days came, the planet of La Terre promised hope. Ooh, yeah, it's like sci-fi. And there's a rebel group that's thought to be long dead, which is now resurfacing. And there's whispers of revolution and blah, blah, blah. And I know the sequel for this one just came out. This is a hefty one. If you want us to give this one a go, vote for that. And then finally, this one, which I am excited about / nervous about. I've heard good things. The Ruin of Kings by Jenn Lyons. I remember I was rewatching my haul for this, and it has a really awesome like first line. And there's this girl who's thought to be a monster, and there's someone who is her guard, and I don't know, but I know there's dragons and it's cool, and Pierre Ford really liked this book. And again, the sequel is already out to this one as well. So those are the 5 from my book haul. You can choose one of those. Remember, you can always join the buddy read for this if you want, or just pick a book you want to see me read and tell you about. There's no pressure to that. Now we'll go over the 5 historical romances I have for you to choose from. 2 of them are by authors that I already love, and then 3 of them would be new. So let's tell you. So this one I'm putting up is The Virtuoso by Grace Burrows. So this is the 3rd book in the Duke of Wyndham series. What's it called? And I really loved the first 2. They really they really showed love languages to a really beautiful degree. I think you'll remember, I think it was back in like November or December that I read The Heir, and I cried so many times reading it because I just felt so seen by that romance novel and I just couldn't handle it. Like, it was so good. And so this one is about the 3rd son. His name is Valentine, and he's a pianist, and he's the youngest son of the Duke, and he meets a widow named Ellen Markin, and she has a devastating secret. That's the thing. All the women in this series have a devastating secret that makes them unlovable somehow. But I have really loved these books. They're generally a little bit like deeper and more like they tug at my heart more than normal. And so they're usually pretty emotional. Not so much of like a rom-com that I usually like with my historical romance, but I've loved this series so far. So if you want me to continue it with The Virtuoso, go ahead and pick that. Next, I have a standalone by Eloisa James. This is called My American Duchess. This is one of 3 of her books that I haven't read. And this one's a standalone, so that's kind of fun. I mean, most of these are standalones, let's be real, but this one, as far as I know, doesn't like connect with any of her other series that I've seen so far. But this one says, the arrogant Duke of Trent intends to marry a well-bred Englishwoman. The last woman he would ever consider marrying is the adventurous Mary Pelford, an American heiress who has infamously jilted 2 fiancés. But after one provocative encounter with the captivating Mary, Trent desires her more than any woman he has ever met, and he is determined to have her as his wife, no matter what it takes, and Trent is a man who always gets what he wants. The problem is, Mary is already betrothed, and the former runaway bride has vowed to make it all the way to the altar. Holy crap, so this totally sounds like The Runaway Bride, and that sounds so fun. I like legit want to read it right now, so I'll try to restrain myself. And if you guys don't pick it, I'll probably just pick it. Like, I'll probably just read it anyway. Okay, so then I have Devil's Bride by Stephanie Lawrence, and this is the first Sinster novel. I picked this one up because I heard about it on Fated Mates, which is a podcast by Sarah McLean and this romance reviewer, Jenny, I can't remember her last name, but I listened to their podcast. If you love historical romance or romance in general, you should totally be listening to that podcast. And this is the first in the Sinster series, and this one said there's a guy named Devil, and he's the Duke of St. Ives, and he's the most infamous member of the Sinster family, and he's caught in a compromising position with plucky governess Honoria Weatherby. He astonishes the ton by proposing marriage. No one ever dreamed this scandalous rogue would ever take a bride. So that's kind of fun. This is not the first Sinster novel, so pardon me for saying that. That's the thing that's weird about Fated Mates, is they'll randomly pick a book that's like number 7 in the series to talk about, but there is a lot. So pardon me if you already typed down below that I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. But if you want me to read this, I'm pretty sure this is pretty classic though. by her. Yeah, it came out in 98, so. Then I have If Only I Had a Duke by Lenora Bell. This is cool. I actually just saw Peace Love Books read this. Woo! This one says, after 3 failed seasons and a disastrous jilting, Lady Dorothea Beaumont has had more than enough of her family scheming. She won't domesticate a duke, entangle an earl, or vie for a viscount. She will quietly exit to her aunt's Irish estate for a life of blissful freedom until an arrogant, sinfully handsome duke singles her out for a waltz, making Thea the most popular belle of the season. The duke has ruined her plans, and he'll just have to fix them. So that's cute. And then this is an author. I really want to start her books. This is Megan Frampton, and this is One-Eyed Dukes Are Wild. And this is part of the Dukes Behaving Badly series. So this one says, the scandalously unmarried Lady Margaret Salford is looking for adventure and is always up for a challenge. Her curiosity is aroused by a dangerous-looking stranger with an eye patch, an ideal companion for the life she longs for, no matter what society might say. So when the practical gentleman turns out to be a duke and has a boringly proper as any other nobleman, she can't help but entice him to walk on the wild side. That sounds cute. So those are all fun. So those are the 2 different things you can vote for. You can go ahead and do that up here if you haven't already. Vote for the book that you want me to read and possibly buddy read with me. You can always join the Discord down below in my description. Where we do book recommendations, and if you have video recommendations, you can go there for that. We've had some new members lately, which has been really fun. And then there's always a chat for the book that we are currently reading together. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I put up new videos 3 to 4 times a week, and I'll see you next time.